Most people think their bank account is a vault. It's not. It's a sieve. Right now, as you read this, the money you haven't even earned yet is already being spent by people you've never met. Your landlord, the credit card companies, that streaming service you forgot to cancel. They are all standing in line, hands out, waiting for the clock to strike midnight on payday. But there is a hidden ritual, a day zero protocol used by the top 1% of earners that flips this entire system on its head. If you don't do this the exact second your paycheck hits, you aren't just losing money. You are losing your freedom 1 hour at a time. I'm going to show you why your current budget is actually a trap designed to keep you working until the day you die. And later in this video, I'm revealing the ghost account method, a controversial tactic that banks hate because it effectively makes you invisible to their predatory fees. Stop thinking about your salary as a reward. It's a weapon. But most of you are handing that weapon to the enemy before you even take a shot. The moment that notification pops up on your phone, deposit confirmed, is the highest stakes moment of your entire month. It's the fork in the road between building an empire and maintaining a cage. Most people celebrate by spending. They feel rich for 48 hours, only to spend the next 28 days suffocating under the weight of where did it all go? We've been conditioned to believe that math is the secret to wealth. It's a lie. Wealth isn't about math. It's about psychology and the raw, emotional control of your impulses in the first 60 seconds of receiving your pay. If you can't master the first minute, you'll never master the next decade. Do you feel that slight panic when you check your balance? That isn't a lack of money. That is a lack of a system. And the system starts with one specific, counterintuitive action that feels wrong but changes everything. The clock is ticking. The money is there. Your brain is already flooding with dopamine, suggesting things you deserve. A better dinner. Those shoes. A night out. This is the payday high, and it is the most dangerous emotional state for your financial future. To break the cycle, you must implement the first-minute blackout. This isn't just about moving money. It's about a psychological severance. You need to treat your incoming pay like it's radioactive. You don't touch it. You don't browse. You immediately execute the sacrifice play. While everyone else is paying their bills first, you're going to do something that seems completely irresponsible to the average person. You are going to ignore the light bill. You are going to ignore the rent. Just for a moment. Because the second you pay a bill, that money is gone from your universe forever. It's dead. We've been taught, pay yourself first, but nobody tells you how much that actually hurts. It's not a gentle suggestion, it's a surgical extraction. If it doesn't feel like a sting, you aren't doing it right. Why do 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck regardless of whether they make $40,000 or $140,000? Because the leak scales with the income. It's called lifestyle creep, but it's more like a parasite. It grows as you grow. The only way to kill the parasite is to starve it before it even realizes it's been fed. Imagine your bank account as a battlefield. Your paycheck is your reinforcement. If you send your troops straight into the mouths of your creditors, you have no army left to defend your future. You are left defenseless. But what if there was a way to hide your troops in a place where no bill collector, no subscription, and not even your own impulsive brain could find them? That's where the vault lockdown comes in, and it requires you to rethink what a bank actually is. Most people use one bank, one app, one login. This is a catastrophic strategic error. It creates visual temptation proximity. When you see your total balance, your brain treats it as spendable, even if you've mentally earmarked it for rent. To survive payday, you need to create a physical and digital barrier between survival money and wealth money. You need a bank that you don't have the app for, a bank that doesn't give you a debit card. This is the isolation protocol. Every single payday, the first movement isn't to your checking account. It's a pre-calculated stealth transfer to an institution that is intentionally difficult to access. If you can see your savings in the same app as your coffee money, you don't have savings. You have a delayed expense. You are just holding that money for someone else to take later. Think about the last time you had an emergency. Was it really an emergency? Or was it just a lack of planning that you solved by dipping into your savings because it was right there, just a swipe away? By creating a vault lockdown, you are building a wall of friction. Friction is your best friend in a world designed for one-click spending. We live in an economy that wants to remove all friction between your desire and your bank account. Amazon, Apple Pay, Uber, they've all spent billions making sure you don't have to think. Your payday routine must be the opposite. It must be filled with intentional, difficult friction. But here's the twist. While you're building these walls, there is a silent predator in your accounts that you probably haven't noticed. It's not a bill. It's not a debt. It's something far more sinister that eats your wealth while you sleep. And if you don't identify it in the next 24 hours, you're losing 3% of your life every single year. Let's talk about the inflation ghost and how to trap it. You've heard the word inflation, but you've been told it's about the price of eggs. It's not. Inflation is a tax on your time. If your money sits in a standard savings account, it's losing value faster than a new car driving off the lot. You're safe. Money is actually a melting ice cube. On payday, your routine must include the transmutation step. This is where you turn dying currency into living assets. Most people wait until the end of the month to see what's left over to invest. This is why they stay poor. There is never anything left over. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. The financial version is spending expands to fill the income available. If you have $5,000 in your account, your life will mysteriously cost $5,000. To beat the ghost, you must use the automated extraction method. This isn't just about investing. It's about forcing your lifestyle to adapt to a smaller number. If you make $3,000, you need to trick your brain into believing you only made $2,500. The missing $500? It's not saved. It's deployed. You are sending those dollars out to work so you don't have to. Every dollar is a soldier. If you don't give them orders on payday, they will desert you. They will disappear into meaningless purchases that you won't even remember 3 days from now. Ask yourself, what did you buy 2 paychecks ago? You probably can't remember. That money is gone, and it took a piece of your life with it. But there is a specific sequence to this extraction. If you do it in the wrong order, you'll trigger a financial collapse in your personal life. You need to know the hierarchy of flow. And it starts with a number that most financial gurus get completely wrong, leading people straight into debt traps they can't escape. Every payday, you are the CEO of You Incorporated. A CEO doesn't just pay bills. A CEO allocates capital based on a hierarchy of needs. Most people have their hierarchy upside down. They pay the world, then they pay their lifestyle, and then, if there's a crumb left, they pay their future. We are flipping the script. The hierarchy of flow dictates that your money must move through 3 distinct filters before you even think about buying a cup of coffee. Filter 1 is the crisis shield, not a 6-month emergency fund. That takes too long and feels impossible. You need a starter spark of exactly $1,000. Why $1,000? Because 90% of life's emergencies, a flat tire, a broken appliance, a medical copay, fall under this amount. Having this shield isn't about the money. It's about the psychological peace of knowing that a bad day won't become a bad month. But here's where it gets intense. Once that shield is up, every payday becomes a debt assassination mission. Debt is a high-interest emergency. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest and you're saving money at 4%, you're losing 16% every single day. It's math suicide. On payday, you need to identify your smallest enemy, your lowest balance debt, and attack it with everything you have. This is the snowball trigger. The feeling of crossing off a debt is more addictive than any purchase you can make at a mall. It's a dopamine hit that actually builds wealth. But wait, there's a trap. As you start seeing success, a shadow starts to grow in your peripheral vision. It's the feeling that you've made it. And it's the exact moment most people fail. It's called the success ceiling, and it's the reason why lottery winners go broke. To break through it, you need to implement the 1% rule every time your paycheck increases. Imagine you get a raise, or a bonus, or a tax refund. What's the first thing you do? For most, it's an upgrade, a bigger apartment, a faster car. This is the death spiral of success. You are working harder, but your financial freedom date isn't moving an inch. It's actually moving further away because your survival cost is rising. To stop this, you must master the 1% rule. Every time you get a bump in pay, you only allow your lifestyle to feel 1% of it. The other 99% is immediately diverted into your wealth vault. This creates a widening gap between what you can spend and what you do spend. This gap is where your freedom lives. If you can live on 50% of what you earn, you are effectively retired for 1 year for every year you work. If you live on 90%, you have to work 9 years to buy 1 year of freedom. Which math do you prefer? But payday isn't just about the numbers. It's about the inventory of desires. Every payday, before you spend a single cent on wants, you must perform a 30-day delay audit. Look at your shopping cart. Look at the tabs open on your browser. These aren't just items. They are future you killers. If you still want that item in 30 days, you can buy it. But on payday, you delete the cart. You close the tabs. You prove to yourself that you are in control, not the algorithm. This is the ultimate power move. Most people are slaves to an add to cart button. By delaying, you reclaim your sovereignty. But there's something even more important than what you don't buy. There is a mandatory luxury. You must invest in every payday, or you'll burn out and sabotage your entire plan. It's the guilt-free fuel, and it's the secret to staying in the game for the long haul. Without it, your discipline will eventually snap like a dry twig. Discipline is a finite resource. If you treat your payday routine like a prison sentence, you will eventually escape, and you'll do it by spending every cent you've saved. This is the binge purge cycle of personal finance. To avoid this, your payday routine must include a joy allocation. This is a specific, non-negotiable amount of money. Maybe it's only $50, maybe it's $200, that is designated for pure, unadulterated, stupid spending. You want a fancy steak? Buy it. You want a video game? Get it. The rule is simple. This money has zero oversight. No guilt. No tracking. By giving yourself this pressure release valve, you satisfy the lizard brain that wants immediate gratification. This makes the discipline in the rest of your routine sustainable. It's the difference between a crash diet and a lifestyle change. However, there is a catch. This joy allocation must be the last thing you do, not the first. It is the reward for completing the operational sequence. If you reward yourself before you've secured your future, you're not treating yourself. You're stealing from your future self. Think of it as the oxygen mask rule. You have to secure your own financial survival before you can help your lifestyle breathe. But even with a joy allocation, there's a massive threat lurking in your recurring transactions. I'm talking about the subscription bleed. These are the small, $9.99 or $14.99 charges that feel invisible but act like thousands of tiny leeches on your bank account. On payday, you must perform a search and destroy mission. If you haven't used a service in the last 30 days, you kill it. No, maybe later. Kill it now. Because that $15 a month, invested over 30 years, is worth nearly $20,000. Is that streaming service worth $20,000 to you? Every payday, you need to open your bank statement and look for the zombies. These are the recurring charges for things you don't even enjoy anymore. The gym you don't go to. The premium version of an app you forgot you had. The news site you never read. These companies are banking on your laziness. They literally build their business models around the payday fog, the fact that when you have money, you don't notice the small losses. But wealth is built on the margins. If you can reclaim $100 a month from these zombies, You've just given yourself a $1,200 annual raise without asking your boss for a dime. This is the zero-base reset. Every payday, you start from the assumption that every recurring expense is a no until it proves itself to be a yes. Now let's talk about the ghost account I mentioned earlier. This is the master stroke of the top 1%. While the middle class uses one account for everything, the wealthy use a tri-account architecture. They have a deposit account where the pay lands, a burn account for bills and survival, and the ghost account for wealth building. The ghost account is invisible. It's often at a different bank, with no debit card, no online transfer out, only in. It's a one-way street. Once money enters the ghost account, it ceases to be money and becomes capital. You never spend capital. You only spend the income that capital generates. This shift in mindset, from spending money to building a machine that makes money, is the exact moment you stop being a worker and start being an owner. But there is a final, emotional hurdle. It's the social tax. It's the pressure to look rich before you actually are. And if you don't handle this on payday, your friends will accidentally keep you poor forever. The hardest part of a payday routine isn't the math, it's the people. Payday usually happens on a Friday. Friday is when your friends want to go out. Friday is when the comparison trap is set. You see someone on Instagram with a new watch or a vacation, and suddenly your boring routine of saving and investing feels like a punishment. This is the social tax. It's the price you pay to fit in. To survive this, your payday routine must include a mental reframe. You need to realize that most people looking rich are actually feeling poor. They are one missed paycheck away from a total collapse. Their wealth is a house of cards built on debt. Your wealth is a fortress built on a rock-solid routine. When your friends ask you to do something that isn't in your joy allocation, you need a power script. You don't say, "I can't afford it." That's a victim mindset. You say, "That's not a priority for me right now." This shifts the power back to you. You aren't broke. You are committed. This emotional resilience is what separates the winners from the crowd. On payday, you are making a choice. Do you want the appearance of wealth now or the reality of wealth forever? The tension you feel between these two options is the growth gap. The longer you can sit in that tension without folding, the richer you will become. But we are approaching the most important step of all, the final audit. This is what you do 24 hours after payday to ensure the system worked. If you skip this, the whole routine will fall apart by Wednesday. It's this safety net for your system, and it's where the real magic happens. 24 hours after your paycheck hits, the dust has settled. The transfers have cleared. The payday high has worn off. This is when you perform the final audit. You check your main account. Is the balance what it should be? Did a zombie charge slip through? This 5-minute check is the difference between a plan and a reality. It's the closing of the loop. If you see a balance that's higher than your survival number, don't leave it there. Move the change. If you have $142.53 left over after all your allocations, move that $42.53 into your wealth vault. Every dollar left in your checking account is a dollar at risk of being wasted. This is the zero balance philosophy. You end your payday routine with exactly what you need to survive until the next one, and not a penny more. By doing this every time you get paid, you are rewriting your financial DNA. You are no longer a victim of the economy. You are the architect of your own freedom. You are building a life where work is a choice, not a requirement. Remember, the ghost account only works if you never look back. The debt snowball only works if you don't stop. And the joy allocation only works if you keep it within its boundaries. You have the map. Now, you just have to walk the path. If you made it this far, you are already ahead of 95% of the population who clicked away the moment I mentioned discipline. You have the focus. Now apply it. Comment "freedom" below if you're committing to this routine on your very next payday. Subscribe if you want to join a community of people who are tired of being normal and are ready to be wealthy. Your future self is waiting for you to make this move. Don't let them down. Would you like me to create a step-by-step payday checklist you can download to follow this routine?